Hello, everyone. My name is Keisha Rodriguez, and I am here to present to you on the influence of style. But before I get into it, I love to share a bit more about myself. I am a virtual personal stylist who helps professionals around the world align their image with whatever their personal and professional goals are. Additionally, I am an ex-banking professional who is based in the beautiful Twin Islands of Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm a style influencer. What does that mean? I help brands throughout the world align their image so that they can attract their ideal customer. Also, I am a food and nature lover. I love a great meal and I love the great outdoors. So let's see what are we going to cover in our talk today. I'm going to be speaking about why personal styling. Why did I choose this career? What is the influence of style? Exactly what does that mean? And I'll also be sharing my thoughts on what next, understanding the times. Rachel Zoe, who is one of my style icons, once said, "Style is a way to say who you are without having to speak." Think about it. When you get up and you get ready and you enter a room, you are saying something. Everyone who sees you starts creating some form of perception of who you are and what you have to offer. So in essence, you are speaking without saying anything at all. And this, my darlings, is one of the main reasons why I got into personal styling. Let me share my story with you. I was 6 years old, about in my grandfather's upholstery shop and ponging nails. All right. This is how we say it in the Caribbean. You're pounding nails. And I remembered seeing my mom and her sisters in the corner with magazines, tearing out the pages and trying to decide how they can either mimic or upgrade or create their new designs so that they can have outfits to wear on the weekends. And I found it absolutely fascinating. So as I got older, I realized that I had a keen interest in style and fashion and anything within the art and creative industry. However, I decided to study banking and finance because that just seemed like the more safe thing to do. Needless to say, whilst I was on campus, I decided to start a very small retail establishment. What I did was I purchased items from my home country, traveled with it to university, and I will sell those accessories at maybe 70 to 80% more of the cost price that I would have paid. Eventually, some of the girls on my campus wanted to join in, and in that, I had a very small team around me who was willing to sell items. This was really prompted because every semester I will go to school with a bunch of accessories that were my own. And at the end of it, I was coming home with barely nothing because girls my age will see me on campus looking very stylish and having unique pieces that they hadn't seen before, and being the very empathetic and sharing and giving person that I am, I decided to share those pieces with them. So I thought, why not change that and create a business out of it? So I was able to earn money to travel home at times when I probably would not have been able to afford it. Once I was done with university, however, I decided to expand a bit more, find suppliers in China, etc. And soon enough, I had created a company that I joined in with a partner. However, that company was a little short lived because we weren't on the same page when it came to what we wanted to offer to our clients. So, what I decided to do was separate myself from that company and start my own, which, thanks to my mother, is now Fashion Mode. And the essence of Fashion Mode is styling, because it was more than just finding pieces for people to wear. It was more about curating those pieces so that they looked great wearing them. Which brings me to finding my purpose. As entrepreneurs, of course, one of our main goals is making money. I love to make money. However, I realized that I needed something more to keep me going. I was looking for that one thing that will drive me day after day, for month after month, year after year, so that I can produce and provide to my clients. And this ultimately meant a few things. One, I needed to leave the banking industry. I needed to place myself in an environment where my creativity, my style, my fashion sense could have been cultivated. So I moved into the retail industry. Soon enough, I was working with the Caribbean's largest accessories and lingerie company, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was refreshing in comparison to the banking industry. However, I soon plateaued within that space. It was probably about 4 years that I was working with the company, and I felt like I had no more space to grow. However, at the side, I was building this brand, Fashion Mode. I was styling brand ambassadors. I was working on different commercial sets, and I was loving that. So, how did I make that transition? What I had to do was press pause on everything and take my own sabbatical. I took that sabbatical so that I can figure out exactly what my purpose was, so that the next career that I decided to get into will make complete sense, and it will also fulfill me throughout the years. In that moment, I dwelled in different self-development programs. I also took a vacation. I spent a lot of time in nature. And in doing that, I sort of figured out that it was not about the styling as I thought it was all of the time. It was actually about empowering people and making people feel beautiful. There were moments throughout my sabbatical when I realized that even whilst I was in banking, I was manipulating my uniform, and it attracted clients, it attracted my coworkers, and it made me feel very confident about myself. I was actually tying the scarves of my coworkers and showing them different ways that they can make their uniforms look better. And I thrived on that. So I wanted to create a company that will be able to provide services to persons in a way that will make them feel empowered and achieve anything that they wanted to achieve. And in order for me to do that, it was necessary for me to figure out what was my purpose. I also needed to be authentic in that space. The fashion industry can be a very challenging space to operate in because there's so many criticism when it comes to the ideals of beauty. And I didn't want to get lost in that. I wanted to operate from a space that was true to who I was and true to me fulfilling whatever I needed to fulfill for myself. Because I felt like my clients would appreciate that. I started operating in a way that was relatable. Although I had gotten certified as a personal stylist, that was not enough for me to curate my business. What I needed to do was to figure out how am I going to share what I can do best and what I love with everyone else. I found social media at a time when I was scared. I was super scared. I remember the first time I had to come on camera and I told my business mentor at the time that I felt so ill. And now I am doing it because I pushed myself through those fears to show up not only for an audience, but to show up for myself. And guess what? People felt that and people started to trust me because I was authentic. It also occurred to me that style had so much influence. Let's think about what style is. Most of the times, we think that style means putting on different garments and looking great. Wrong. Style is expressive. It actually has very little to do with these clothes and these pieces of jewelry, etc., that we wear. Those things are fashion and what I call the tools of style. You see, it is important for us to understand that when it comes to our style, our attitude, personality, and characteristics play a huge role. If we don't understand that, our style is not going to make sense. We will not be confident. We need to find that drive, that passion to figure out who we are and pull different pieces together and play in those beautiful fashion items for it to be curated in a stylish way. And you may wonder, why is style even important? It's important because first impressions matter. There's something called the 7-11 rule that was done by a study of university students. In this study, it was discovered that it takes 7 seconds on average for the human being to make approximately 11 perceptions of another person. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Think about passing someone in a mall. You see that person, they're a complete stranger. Within seconds, you start creating perceptions about that person based on their employment status, their level of education, their income status, their religion, and so on and so forth. Perceptions take seconds to be created. And it's important for us as entrepreneurs to understand that we need to ensure that those first impressions are done well. And style can absolutely help with this. So what are some of the things that we can do? Firstly, and this is actually the main thing for me, we want to feel good. You look good. And vice versa. You look good to feel good. What does that mean? It's absolutely impossible for us to feel good all of the time. But what do we do on those days where we have to show up when we don't feel like it? We give ourselves that extra motivation by looking good. We have been going through a pandemic, and I know from my own experience that there were days where I didn't feel like getting off the bed and having to take a shower and sit down at my desk. I just felt like I can wake up, leave my pajamas on, and sit down and keep the camera off. But as a personal stylist, I knew that I needed to do more for myself so that I can pour into my clients. And I was hearing the pain that my clients was experiencing from being unable to be around others. So I made a conscious decision to dress up every single day. I woke up, I got fully dressed as though I was going to an office, going to set, just going out. And I realized my productivity increased. So I decided to try it out with my clients as well. Every style plan that I created, I put in there, get fully dressed for at least 7 days. And it worked. It worked. Productivity levels increased. Confidence levels increased. Self-esteem was boosted. And that in itself was fulfilling for me. So style has influence. The next thing is you can achieve what you need to through style. I'll share a simple story. I created a post on social media that spoke about dressing for what you want. It was a simple post. I didn't really think too much of it, honestly. But the following day, a very good friend of mine asked me to do her a favor by accompanying her to an appointment where she was actually going to try to get a promotion. I told her, of course. Usually, this friend in particular will ask me for different style advice, but I realized that this time she didn't ask me anything. So I thought, wow, she's getting better. I'm very proud. That morning when she came to meet me, she was dressed well and she radiated this glow and energy of success. It was hard to describe, but I just felt happy. And in the back of my mind, I told myself, she's going to get this job, even if it's because of how she looks. She went ahead, did her interview. I picked her back up. And when she came into the vehicle, she said to me, Keisha, I did not want to say anything because I wanted to do my own analysis on this. And I thought, what are you speaking about? She said, I saw your post yesterday and I was about to message you to ask, what should I wear? But I heard you when you said, dress for what you want. She knew that she was going in front of a particular audience that liked a particular look and expected certain things. She also knew that there were certain colors that looked great on her. So she decided to put all of that together and see how it goes. For her, it started from the moment she looked in the mirror. She said, I looked at myself in the mirror and thought, wow, I look great. Even if I don't get this job, I look great. But what that did in that moment was energetically align her to achieve what she needed to achieve. She knew that she wanted to get this job, but she needed that extra boost of confidence and security to know that she will get that job. She said when she walked into the room and sat in front of the panel, she could tell that all of the eyes were on her, but she did not feel any form of intimidation. She said that she felt admiration. And there was even a comment by one of the recruiters that she looked great and they loved her blazer, which was also a conversation starter. She aced the interview and she got the promotion. These are the stories that I love to tell because these are the stories that give me the evidence to say that style has influence. So, what's next? My question is, what now? Most of us are still going through some form of pandemic woes, and we may be up and down with how we're feeling. There's that lack of empowerment on some days, that uncertainty that we are experiencing based on where we are in the world. And especially for us women, there's so many things that are usually on our plate. And now we have a pandemic to deal with. Wow. So, what now? When it comes to style, I think the main thing that we have to consider is the shift that has happened with respect to the type of clothing that we are attracted to. Comfort is the key word. Athleisure is now a thing. There has not been this amount of athleisure designs seen in forever. And it's great. I think that the pandemic has formed a bit of a revolution within the fashion industry. Yet, there are many retailers that unfortunately has had to close their doors. That does not mean that the fashion industry actually estimates over $100 billion in growth. I said billion million. I mean 100 billion. $100 billion in growth within the next year. Why? People want to feel good. We are ready to get out there. So let's talk a bit about the designs. Style needs fashion to exist, okay? Because the fashion are the tools. And with the pandemic, one thing that has happened is that designers have found a reason to pivot. There's now the emergence of designs that are made to make us be comfortable, especially in a home setting. Loungewear. I guarantee you that most of us have a piece of loungewear that we love. But loungewear that we wear today isn't loungewear from 2 years ago. It actually provides some form of style. Things like the bags that are created now, fanny packs have come back. I've seen little coin purses, etc. The mini bag, for example. Things that make it easy for us to store the things that the pandemic now needs us to carry. Yet, we want to look stylish wearing these things. And let's not forget the masks. If someone had asked me to plot fashion trends 5 years ago and said, what do you think about masks? I would have said, definitely not, except if it's in Asia. Needless to say, we are now seeing a variety of masks that can be worn to match with different outfits, even bridal masks. It's so beautiful and innovative. So I think that the pandemic has certainly given rise to innovation when it comes to the fashion industry, and it has also allowed our designers the opportunity to mold their art and craft. And as we speak about being innovative, we cannot forget social media. Social media is a science. I absolutely adore social media. And one thing that the pandemic has offered us is the opportunity to learn very quickly how to pivot. Coming out of the pandemic, we're hearing about zombie brands. Those are the brands that were considered small pre-pandemic, and most people thought they wouldn't be able to survive. But guess what they have? And that is due to digitalization. Social media rules. Social media is absolutely helpful to the fashion industry. We are now seeing things like live shopping from huge brands. Now we are seeing nano influencers like myself. These are influencers who have less than 10,000 followers, but they have a lot of influence. And these influencers are being used by huge brands to get their message out there. I don't know about y'all, but I think that the fashion industry is going to do pretty well moving forward. There's also the understanding that people want to get glammed out. Now more than ever, persons want to dress up. They want to dress up and go out and meet others and look great. All of the clothing that is in their closet, they want to wear it. Ladies, put your hand up if you want to wear those heels. And we weren't spending a lot of money on clothing and fashion. So now is the time where we have a little extra savings to maybe buy that bag, buy those shoes, buy those necklaces, the earrings, the makeup that you didn't before. There's a new appreciation for life as well. So wear your stuff. Okay? I think that moving forward, the fashion industry is going to be well. And people are learning the importance of showing up for themselves. We can no longer hide in a crowd because now everything is being done on a screen. Last year, I did not think that I would be presenting at this conference to all of you wonderful women around the world. But I can, thanks to technology. Thank you to digitalization. And as we move forward, the style that we own is going to be important to showing up online. We can no longer hide behind the camera. Turn the cameras on. Step into your own. Understand that you are beautiful. Wear the dress that you haven't worn in a long time. Get your hair done. Get your nails done. Put on some fabulous red lipstick. And express yourself in the way that you want to be understood. I hope that this message reaches everyone, because style has influence. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day.